Hey, what's up everybody? O3 Canadian F5 here with a long overdue Forza Motorsport video. It's been a little while since I've been making any YouTube videos between everything with the YouTube monetization fiasco and just life. I haven't really had the time to do this stuff. I still do love doing it, so even though I'm not getting paid to do it, which I wasn't getting paid very much to begin with, I'm just going to do it out of the love for it. So here you're seeing my first gen Chevy Nova. So this is a B-class car. Note the Canadian livery. This was supposed to be a Canada Day video, but a couple of days late, unfortunately. So this first race, we're going to be on Hockenheim. And let's see here, where we're actually going to manage to get around turn 1 cleanly. Now usually these Lotuses are pretty quick, but this one's got full aero on it, so it slows them down just enough. We get into the first braking zone here and I can outbrake him, and a little bit of contact, but Rubbin's racing. Keep it neat and tidy and get a good run on to the this straight here. It's not really a straight, it's kind of a really long left-hander. It's key to trying to brake late, but not so late coming into this hairpin, and it's a slow turn. It is a 180-degree hairpin. I went defensive here to block that Lotus. Can't see him in the replay, unfortunately, but just trying to track down the first 3 cars here in front of me. Oh, a little bit of contact between that BMW and the Mustang. Mustang in the grass. Not sure what happened to the NSX. I didn't see. He goes wide. So, I do know lift shift. I'm using a wheel. So disregard the really bad limiter bounces. For whatever reason, the replays render and they make the shifts a lot slower and the limiter bounces a lot worse than they actually are. So the paint jobs and tunes for all these cars are available for download. This car is pretty dialed in. I'm always making small tweaks depending on how I feel that day, but this is a solid car. Braking hard into turn 1. Hit the apex. Try to stay on the curb. I'm going to try to make some ground up here in this braking zone. And I gain a couple of car lengths right there. Well, more than a couple. And I lose them. The acceleration on that NSX is just mind-boggling. It is a leaderboard car. Try to personally stay away from the leaderboard cars just to be different, not because I have anything against them. I mean, if I have to, I'll pull one out just to fight fire with fire if a few people in the lobby that I can't catch that are using them. So a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that hairpin back there. It just slows me down a tad. I'm going to try to use this braking zone again here to gain some more ground. I'll come out wide here to set myself up for this turn so I can carry a little bit more speed through it and just reel these guys in. So now I'm up nice and close within range here. Maybe I can make a move on somebody. Not quite though. At this point I'm just trying not to hit this BMW that's in front of me. And he goes defensive, so I need to try to take him on the outside here. Doesn't quite work out for me. But now him and the NSX are in a bit of a battle, which slows him down. And he just shuts the door on me right here. I have to get on the brakes. I run wide just to try to carry as much speed as possible onto this front straight. Going into turn 1, can I? And then he shuts the door on me again. I have to cut the corner because of that. If not, it would have been a wreck. Missed the apex here, but managed to get back on the gas. A little bit of wheel spin, nothing to write home about. A little bit of drift right there. More of a power slide. The tune in this car does have a 4-speed transmission. It's a stock transmission, so it does shift slower than I actually do. The only problem with this game is that the transmission won't shift as fast as I physically shift. Got a good run under this section here. Reel them in again in the braking zone. This car is very good under brakes. I'm a little unorthodox when it comes to my lower class car tunes, because I try to make room in the performance index for race brakes on anything that I'm tuning. So I'm setting myself up here for a possible move. Try to make it stick. Dive bomb, lock the brakes up, a little bit of contact. Shit happens, I guess, but I did message the guy driving the purple BMW afterwards, just to apologize. I'm Canadian, it's the thing to do. You'll see coming on to this straight here that he's going to just kind of let off the throttle and let me by. Because he actually thought that that contact was his fault, but that was 100% me just getting way too greedy with the brakes in that braking zone and locking them up. This next car here is my A-Class Corvette. Set up more as a handling car as far as the balance of performance goes. Full aero. For an A-Class car, I believe it's rated at a 6.0 for handling, which is a little high. You sacrifice a lot of top-end power when it comes to that. But this race is Maple Valley. And I don't win this one, I'll tell you that right now. But there is a shit show at the beginning, right here. Never friggin' fails. Anytime I start at the back of the pack, there's always something that happens like this. So now we're going to try. And if you watch on the bottom here, I check for the position every now and then in the replay. So like I said, this car is set up as handling, so corner speed is pretty significant, especially on this track. A lot of sweeping turns. So you can see here, reeling these three in. Easily gain 2 positions right there. I'm going to reel in this NSX here, especially in this section. But then I get a little early on the brakes here. Probably I could have braked earlier, but so he gains a position back. We're going to go into a little bit of a dogfight mode. I purposely go wide. I'm looking for the cutback move here on the throttle, late apex, and I get around him. Nice and clean. So moving up through the field here. This RX-7 is my next victim. Fortunately, he's going a little slower and just blocking up the race line. I can't get around him. Try something a little stupid here, going through the grass. Doesn't quite work out for me. Figured I could dive up on the inside, but nope. But, key word of the day is, well, not even a word, just diving up on the inside. So here we go, a little bit of a late braking move. Can I go through this NSX? No, because he's, of course, going to come out a ghost just as I get up to his back bumper. Keep it nice and tidy through this section right here. This Daytona is going to give me a hard time. It's just squirrely all over the place. And those are typically the hardest people to get around cleanly. And I do like to be a clean racer. That guy goes wide, hits the grass. I'm still fighting with this Daytona. He goes super wide on this turn. I can sneak up on the inside. Put the power down. With the aerodynamics, or with the aero mods on this car, does really well through this section here where the cars typically get light over the hills, but it still gets light here. Somehow managed to stick that pass. Now to try to get this Miata. It's kind of forced me to take a really crappy line through that section. I'm going to try to carry as much speed on him as I can through here. Not my cleanest pass, but just a little bit of contact, nothing too serious, didn't take him out, so all is well. I'll try to force this guy into a mistake, because I know he sees me coming. And just, that was way too easy. He does do a good job of chasing me down though, he stays right on my back bumper for the rest of this race, but we're not focused on the people behind me. So now I'm just trying to gap the guy behind me, but like I said, he's keeping pace. So I'm going to try to dive late, but I keep messing this corner up. It's just one of those things. I think my other issue too is that I'm used to driving a Shelby Mustang in A-Class, not this Corvette. So this Vet's really, really good on the brakes. The Mustang's good on the brakes, not as good as this car. So I just tend to brake earlier with this car, thinking it's like the Mustang. You will see that in other videos at some time. It's got a very immature paint job on it. By that I don't mean any phallic symbols or anything, but you'll see what I mean. Just keep an eye on my channel. Trying not to cut those corners, but still getting the 4 tires over the line. Just trying to reel in this Viper, but I would have needed another lap. But this was a good 4th place finish, considering after that big clusterfuck at the beginning of the race, I ended up in 18th. Now on to S-Class. This is a multi-class race that you'll be seeing. This is my Porsche Cayman GT4. All these vehicles are tuned and painted by me. This is probably one of my favorite cars in my garage, and I know, shocker, it's not a Chevrolet or a muscle car for that matter, but it just does so damn well. So full aero again. This car, balance-wise, is kind of centered more towards handling characteristics, less towards top speed performance. But it does really well because of it. I can carry a lot of corner speed where a lot of vehicles will be lacking. So it turns into a dogfight a lot of the times where I'll be fighting with somebody with more top end, but I'll catch them in the turns. And you're going to see that a little bit on this race. So we're in S-Class. A-Class cars have gone before us, the B, the C's. And so acceleration is really good on this car just because it's so light. It's got full weight reduction. Braking's great. That BBLM though, that Ferrari car, that's typically pretty good in the straights. This NSX is just a freaking turkey. I cut closer to the wall just because I figured I'd have to give that NSX some more room. But he actually gave me more room, so nice to see a little bit of racing with some respect between drivers. So everybody knows Forza lobbies, you've got your rammers, you've got your noobs, you've got your idiots, and actually just trying to get a good race recorded for S-Class for this video was a pain, and that's why I ended up in multi-class hoppers for this. I don't know, I just find the racing is better in the ABC's lobby. People tend to be more aware of the faster classes. They'll move out of your way, they'll let you by. Could be a result of just the people that are in this lobby enjoy or are fans of actual multi-class racing so they understand it. And this guy in the BRZ, like, really? You know, as if to just shit all over my point. But it wasn't bad. A little bit of contact. Trying to make up some ground here in this braking zone. Get on the throttle. So here's a Rolls Royce of all friggin' vehicles in front of me. I'm gonna try to go on the inside, but I figured he'd go wide, but he didn't. So back on the throttle, and I'm still trying to hunt that Ferrari down. So it's race car versus road car. This is just absolutely nailed this braking zone. That apex was good. Come out smooth on the power. No wheel spin. It's one of the nice things about the wheel and having an actual set of pedals. You have a little bit more throttle control than you do with the trigger on the controllers. A total screw up on my part here. I was expecting the car to oversteer when I hit that curb, and it didn't. So we're reeling him in now. Now we're catching up to some slower traffic. So hopefully they'll hold him up enough that I can actually catch up to him. And make a good race out of this. Dive bomb on this slower car. And this is what I'm talking about here. You know, slower cars letting the faster ones by. He sees me there. He stays over on his line. Lets me by. I go tearing off after that Ferrari that I've been chasing for the last lap and a half. Going through that section. You always want to set yourself up wide before the turn. Dive for that apex. Just carry as much speed as you possibly can as you come across that apex. Especially in flowing turns like this. You both just make mincemeat out of that slower Holden. Now it's a drag race down this back straight. And it's going to be a race on the brakes here. And actually he did a really good job of staying with me on the brakes right there. But I had the inside, so he had to concede that one to me. And then just me being me, I go freaking deep on this turn. And now I'm basically shitting bricks. But what I said earlier about this car having really good acceleration pays off for me right here, as I managed to take the win. So that's my Canada Day theme video. All three of my cars that have Canadian liveries on them. This one with the Jake the Skull on it. So my original plan was to have this video out on July 1st. Canada Day didn't quite happen because, well, celebrating with the family, going out and doing family things, just didn't really have the time to edit the video. And actually, this morning, I guess, on the 3rd, is when I finally recorded that S-Class race. So, thanks everybody for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe on my videos for more, and thanks for watching. See you next time.